What's good, guys? We are back with another video. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about my fitness journey so far, as I realized about yesterday that we're coming up on about 2 years since I started my fitness journey. If you're new to the channel, I talk about mainly lifestyle content, health and wellness. I do vlogs as well, talk about fitness, but I also try to keep free range with my channel, and I will talk about whatever I'm interested or passionate about the time. So there's kind of a lot of leeway when it comes to my channel. For today's video topic, I'm mainly just going to be talking about going through my story with working out and going through lessons that I learned, narrating the things that I learned, and then possibly providing some tips, also providing, I want to say, a realistic viewpoint to working out, just because I feel like the whole fitness space on the internet right now is a little bit fabricated. So I'm honestly just trying to bring some realness to you guys. I'm trying to give you guys the real, as opposed to just fabricating it and getting on the internet and capping and doing a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of babbling that simply isn't true, because I'm not trying to get on here and mislead you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. So my fitness journey, I want to say my fitness journey has been ongoing for almost 2 years now. I officially started working out in July or August of 2021, and so I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary in a few months, in about a month or two. But I do want to say, outside of the 2-year time span, I really want to say my fitness journey has been ongoing for about 3 months, just because.
All right, guys, my bad. I said 3 months. I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to say 3 months. I meant 3 years. So for anyone watching this, that is my bad. My fitness journey has been ongoing for 3 years. Little editor's note. Continue on.
Officially say that I do want to say my unofficial journey is about 3 years, because there's some buildup leading up to me just finally deciding to work out. Me working out, or I guess how we got to this point, I think I'm gonna try to incorporate videos and pictures just to make this a little bit more interesting, depending on how I feel when I edit this for you guys. Yeah, how we got to this point, or how I got to said point right here. For most of my life, I've been fairly skinny. I've been a fairly skinny person, decently active, and so weight is not something that I've ever had to worry about. And I want to say for most of my life, I've been insane foodie, literally have been obsessed with food for as long as I can remember, have a deep admiration for food. And being skinny, active enough to keep your metabolism high, food and diet is not something that I worried about. It's not something that I cared about. I was out here eating 3 junior chickens a day, supersizing everything, just no cares in the world, just vibes, bro. Just supersize and vibes. That's really all that I was on. But towards the end of high school is when my activity level started to slow down, and then when I started university, my freshman 15 hit me double fold, and I ended up, I think, gaining about 25-30 pounds within my first year of university. And then my second year of university, pandemic hit, and that just added to the weight gain. I would honestly say the cause for that is, and I think the cause for most freshman 15 incidents is, at least in my case, fairly active throughout most of my childhood, throughout most of my teenage years. I'm not seeing any weight gain, and I'm able to stay the same size despite having a terrible diet, because I'm simply just being active all the time. So the calories that are coming in are less than the calories going out. But then when your activity level slows down, your eating habits don't change, and boom, right? And I want to say, at least for me, that's pretty much what happened. My love for food continued, and my disregard for all things diet-wise continued, but my activity level decreased, and it started to show. And because I've been fairly skinny for most of my life, everyone around me started to take notice. I want to say towards the end of 2020, 2021 is when I decided to make a change. By that point, whenever I would take pictures or videos of myself, I wasn't really vibing with the person I was seeing in the picture. I didn't really like the way that I looked. I didn't really like looking at myself. Didn't really like taking a lot of pictures of myself. Didn't really like taking videos. Didn't really like being on camera. So towards the end of 2020 is when I decided I was gonna make a change for myself. In the beginning of 2021, I decided I was gonna run 3 times a week. My mom had just brought a treadmill. I decided to make full use of. So decided to run 3 times a week. Decided to also track my weights. I want to say weekly, but just, you know, measuring my weight, doing weigh-ins, and then also just running. And for that, I think I did it for about 2 months, maybe almost 3 months. I want to say in that time period, I lost about 10 pounds. But then towards the end of that stretch, I realized that, and something that I've always said to my friends is that I like my size. Like, I'm not trying to, I didn't want to continue running and to continue doing cardio-based workouts to lose my size and go back to being really, really skinny. What I wanted and what I realized, what I wanted the most out of just exercising was to build muscle and to build a crazy physique, to build a very muscular, athletic physique. I didn't really want to go back to being small. And so I stopped cardio-based workouts around whenever that stretch ended. And about a few months later, during the summer of 2021, I signed up for a gym membership and just hit the weights. And it also helped in that time too, because I did have a friend who was transitioning into a personal fitness career, and so he helped guide workouts. He helped just teach me basics and help me understand, help me build a basic foundation to working out. Because literally before working out, I used to really sit there and, like, I couldn't understand how guys are spending 2-3 hours in the gym. Granted, I still don't really know how guys are spending 3 hours in the gyms, but back then I really didn't used to understand it, because prior, when I used to try to work out before 2021, 2020, my workouts used to take me like 15 minutes. And I used to struggle to even get my workouts to 30 minutes, which I now know I was doing them wrong, which I'll get into a little bit. Yeah, so I started working out in about 2021. The motivation there at that point was just I wanted to be more confident in myself. I just wanted to build confidence, and I wanted to be more comfortable with myself. And so the journey started, and for the first 4 or 5 months, the motivation for that was really strong. I went to the gym every week for 4 months straight. But I do want to say I started with maybe not the best mindset of working out, because I started with a lot to learn, basically, because I started working out essentially thinking that I could outwork a bad diet. I was like, I'm still gonna eat whatever I want to, because I'm a foodie at heart, vibes. Ain't nothing finna stop this junior chicken after the workout. And that, I think the diet part of it really hindered the amount of gains that I could have seen in myself. Obviously, I built a lot of muscle in the beginning, but because I wasn't losing any weight, because I was still eating a lot, you weren't really seeing the gains all that much. So in the very beginning of working out, I thought that you could outwork a bad diet, and then I also thought that you could see changes within the first 3 months. And for the very first year of me working out, I had to realize that working out takes a few years. A lot of people that you see online that have crazy bodies, crazy physiques, they've been working out for a few years, and that's something that I had to realize over time. And then I also just had to realize that you can't outwork a bad diet. But for the first part of my fitness journey, I really just focused on consistency and just really focusing on how many times can I show up. That was the main goal for me. Just, can I show up consistently for a long period of time, just working out, and then we'll start to stack and build to my journey as the journey goes on. So yeah, that was the very first 6 months of me working out. The next 6 months of me working out, within that first year, I want to say I tried focusing on the diet portion of it. And for the next 6 months, for that entire second half of the year, when I realized that you can't outwork a bad diet, failed. When I tried to get my diet under control, I failed multiple times. I started to stop multiple times. And what no one tells you about dieting, or at least what isn't inherently obvious at the time, is when you're cutting, being hungry all the time, it sucks, bro. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. There is no way to get around that. Cutting is gonna suck. I'm literally cutting right now, and I'm always hungry. And there's gonna be, what also no one tells you about dieting and cutting is, or what I feel like a lot of people don't know or don't realize, is that your body fluctuates in weight all the time, especially in the very beginning. And so when you're going hungry and you're really trying hard on the diet and you're not seeing the progress on the scale, it's extremely frustrating, it's extremely demotivating. And so that's what led me to stop my first few attempts at just cutting and dieting, because I just got to a place where I was like, bro, like I'm going hungry every night and my weight is going up. Yo, like why am I even doing this for real? And that's what led me to stop for my first few attempts. What I want to tell you guys, and what a lot of people don't realize, is one, you do have to look for other metrics to measure your weight. You can't just solely rely on the scale, which I feel like a lot of people, it's not said enough. You have to take pictures, you have to look at visual cues, you have to see whether or not your clothes fit, check for the weight in your face. You can't just solely rely on the weight, because your weight is going to fluctuate, especially in the very beginning. And then secondly, consistency is very important in the gym, but when it comes to dieting, you just have to keep going, because you are definitely not going to see the results if you stop. You're not going to get to your destination if you stop. So even if you're frustrated, you just have to keep going, and eventually, if you're cutting, your weight will go down. That's the second lesson that I had to learn. And so when we come to year 2 of my fitness journey, still working out, by this time I transitioned gyms, I ended up actually injuring myself. And in injuring myself, I realized how important it is for form and not lifting too heavy. But I think I might make that a topic for another video. But for the first 6 months, I'm still just focusing on showing up, just focusing on just trying to be consistent. Although in the first 6 months of year 2, I wasn't super consistent as year 1, but nonetheless, I'm still making the effort to go. Completely disregarded diet, and so I think as a result, by the end of 2022, my weight went back up. By this time, I really couldn't look at pictures of myself, really wasn't happy with the way that I was looking, and was just getting frustrated, honestly, with myself and just all the effort that I was putting in, and realizing that, you know, I really could take things to that next level if I really buckled down and tried. And I didn't want to be the result of my own fit. The way I kind of saw it is, if this is not gonna work, it's not gonna be because I'm not trying hard enough. That's kind of how I started seeing things. And so the second half of year 2, last 6 months, is when I decided, okay, for New Year, so beginning of 2023, I'm gonna go on a cut. I'm gonna really take this diet thing seriously. I'm gonna really work out consistently, and I'm just gonna stick to it. And so the last 6 months have been pretty good. I want to say I'm down about 17 pounds, and I'm still going. So the heaviest that I've ever been is around 208. Yeah, 208, and my target is 180, so I'm at about 191 right now. So for anyone who's tapped in with me right now, you get to see the journey live and direct. But the last 6 months have really just been diet focused, and really have just been focused on me cutting down. It sucks, like there's no two ways around it. I do want to say though, in my case, I just focused on things I could change, so I didn't immediately switch to all clean, healthy, clean diet, no fast food, as I've done in the past. And the thing with going cold turkey is, if you have one drop of anything, one bite of anything, it just completely ruins the entire thing. And so the fourth and fifth time around, I realized I didn't want to go that route. So I decided I was just going to focus on portion control. I still want to eat the things that I want to, but I'm just going to eat less of it. That's been pretty much easy for me to maintain. In the very beginning, for the first 3 months of that cut, I was working at around a 300 calorie deficit, but then in the last 3 months, I decided to ramp it up and just go the full 500, just because I wanted to give myself more room to make mistakes. Just because in case I wrongly inputted something with me calorie tracking, I didn't want that to throw off my weight entirely. So I've been going pretty hard with the 500 cal deficit, and that brings us to where we are now currently in our journey. And I do want to say, like, the things that I've learned so far and the advice that I can give to you guys with just working out, you really have to look at this entire thing like a lifestyle change, and really just stacking on different aspects of trying to build the version of you that you want, trying to reshape the version of you, or the version of the body that you want. And so the working out part of it, the being active part of it, is just the base layer. There's a lot of different components that fall into that. There's the diet part, there's the showing up and being consistent, there's the mindset, And being consistent, I do want to say, is going to be the most important thing, because you still have to show up even when you're upset. You still have to keep doing the thing that you're doing even when things are not going your way. Otherwise, it's for sure not going to work. I do want to say though, in a hint of realism, there is a level of discipline that is required for it, and you can't solely always rely on motivation. But for the most part, people that work out, and for the people that go to the gym, they like being at the gym. So it's easier for them to stay disciplined, and it's easier for them to stick to the thing that they want, because that's something that they genuinely want. And that's what I try to advise people that are just starting is, I'm never gonna, like, as a person, I'm never gonna sit there and I'm never gonna tell you you have to change, because I have no business doing that, and I have no right as a person to come and tell you to come and critique your lifestyle or critique your body. Like, that would just make me an asshole, fam. Like, that's not what I'm on. But the change has to come from you, and that's the only way that it's gonna work properly, is if you decide for yourself that this is not something that you want anymore, and you're willing to work and do whatever it takes and put in the footwork to get to that destination, to get to where you're trying to be. Only when you decide for yourself that that's what you want and you're going to stick to it no matter what, and you're going to keep yourself accountable, is when you start seeing results. And I would say a really other easy thing is just honestly realizing that if you don't hit something by a certain date, it's okay. Just keep going, just keep walking. If you don't get to your fitness goals in 3 months, it's okay. Maybe you'll get it in 6, but you'll never know if you stop. That's the important thing, is just not stopping. And then lastly, if I had to throw in a third tip for you guys, is just pick something that's easy. Pick something that you can stick to and maintain. There's a lot of guys that I know that work out 6-7 days a week. I've tried it. I can't stick to it because for whatever reason, it's really hard for me to show up to the gym every day. But I try to go, I'm at a good place now where I go 4 times a week based on my split. So again, start with what you can maintain. Try to do 3. Don't try to do 7. If you can't do 7, or if you're coming from a background of never exercising at all, because you're never gonna, if you try to work out 7 days a week, your body is gonna go into shock, and you probably won't even make the full 7. You won't even be recovered in time enough to make the full. And then just on the diet component, do stuff you can stick to, because this is a lifestyle change, because this is something that you were trying to stick to for the rest of your life. So don't do crash diets. Don't completely switch up your diet. Don't try to go vegan. Don't try to do those things if that's not who you are as a person, because it's going to make that 10 times harder to stick to, and the chances of you failing at that are going to be increased so much more if you just approach it in baby steps, approach it in little increments. And that's how I kind of like to approach this whole topic. So yeah, that has been my fitness journey so far. 2 years in, I want to say at the end of the 2 years, I am at a much better space with the way that I treat myself, the way that I treat my body, and honestly just learn to be more forgiving of myself, because that's, I think, the most important thing too with this journey, is you just have to be forgiving. It's okay. You know, you're not always going to get things right on the first try, and that's okay. That's my journey. Hoped that you guys enjoyed that. Hope that helped. I tend to ramble a lot in my videos, but I think that's the style I'm going for. It comes off as a little bit more authentic. I want it to come off as I'm having a conversation with you guys, because y'all are the bros. You know, y'all are my friends. So I want it to be in a little bit more, I want the video to be a little bit more stylized in a conversation, as opposed to just scripted me following direction, whatever. Anyways, yeah, so if you guys like that video, like, comment, subscribe, please. Trying to build up the community. And yeah, I post regularly, so when y'all see me, y'all see me.